Lee, thank you for taking the time to talk today. I know there's been a lot of talk within the media. I know from George's side about sparring with you a few years ago. Can you kind of reflect on what actually that consisted of? How many rounds? What was that like?
I think it was back in 2018 in the Wildcard. I think George sparred first. He sparred a boy from Scotland who was an amateur at the time. He turned professional. Now he's an unbeaten pro at the moment, and he looked very good. He bloodied his nose up, and I thought I got to be on the ball here. So when I got inspired, I sparred brilliant and just saw that I boxed him. And yeah, he thinks he had me running around. He quoted he had me running all around the Wildcard and shut me to my boots every time he hit me. If that was the truth, if that was the case, I would have helped my end up instead. It would have made more of an interesting fight then.
Mm-hmm. Looking back at that time, was there a lot of rounds, or was it really just 4 rounds?
Only 4 rounds. Yeah.
Okay, so you feel like he's just kind of blowing up those 4 rounds just for head games, mind games?
I don't know what he's doing, but it's not the truth. It's only sparring. I'd be the first one to say what happened in sparring.
When you were sparring with him, was there anything that stood out to you, or was it just like another workout?
Nothing really stood out. But when I watched him, he looked good.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I was in, it was just like normal sparring, to be honest. I can't really remember. So he couldn't have been that good. Otherwise, I would have remembered him.
Looking at Kambosos' experience, looking at his resume, what do you think about the type of opponents that he's fought? Is there any of the names on there that impress you, or do you feel like he's out of his league?
He's not out of his league. He's like unbeaten. He's a decent fighter. But you look at it, you go through his list of opponents. You go on BoxRec and look who they fought, who they've been knocked out by. You can see they're not of a high quality, except for his last opponent, Mickey Bay, where he was a former world champion. But he was he was past his best, and he'd been inactive for a while, and he was old. And he had a split decision win. It was a close fight.
Last question for me on my end. Looking at, you talked about some of his best attributes. Yeah. What do you think are one of your 2 key attributes that are going to win you the fight?
My footwork, and possibly my experience, and my range.
Perfect. Lee, thank you so much, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
George, good to see you, and thank you for taking the time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
I know that you've been on the record talking about the 4 rounds in the past that you've sparred with Lee Selby. I just asked him about it. He said it wasn't really memorable. What did you see in those 4 rounds that told you that, you know what, I've got this guy, I can take him?
It was a while ago. It was like 3 years ago. But from the sparring that I got exactly how he fights. He likes to tap and run and move. And there was nothing there. There really wasn't anything there, anything special. Every time I touched him, he ran even more. So I know it was with 14, 16-ounce gloves. So when I put these little 8s on, it's going to be a massive, massive difference. And he'll feel it straight away. And that was a long time ago. I'm a different beast. I've come into my prime right now. I'm hitting harder than ever. And he'll realize that from the first second when I hit him.
He's an elusive fighter, as you've kind of discussed there. Footwork, movement around the ring. How confident are you that you can cut him off, trap him, and what possibility do you see for a possible knockout?
Their mold legs are not going to be moving as much as he has in the past. As soon as I hit him, he's going to crumble. I'll tell you now, he will crumble. He can try to do whatever he wants, but it's not going to work. I have too much in my favor. I'm young, I'm hungry, I'm fresh, and it's going to be a big win, a big statement.
Talking about his age, have you seen a decline in his last few performances from your perspective?
Yeah, look, you can see his last 2 fights. They've been terrible fights, boring fights, and you can see by his fan base and even the UK public, there's really no interest. There really is no interest for Lee Selby.
Mm-hmm. Last question. As far as your preparation mentally, have you been looking at 1 or 2 fights in particular on video?
Every fight. We've been looking at every fight we get our hands on. I think I know Lee Selby better than he knows himself.
Sounds good. Thank you, George.